Hey Harmony House, it's another chapter book story time. Today we are on chapter 9 of the Magic Misfits, the second story. So, in our last chapter was really long, and it was about the dinner party that the Magic Misfits were having with Mr. Dante Vernon and his old friend Sandra Santos. So Layla's goal going into this was, remember, she's feeling a little suspicious of Sandra because she doesn't know a lot about her dad's childhood and Mr. Vernon's childhood, and she doesn't know a lot about the Emerald Ring, which was their magic club, kind of like the Magic Misfits. And then also, in the last book, they learned that Bibi Bozzo was also one of the members of the Magic Ring, and a friend of Dante Vernon when they were kids. And so she's feeling a little suspicious of Sandra and wondering if she has some other plan up her sleeve. So she wants to learn more about that. So at the dinner party, the Magic Misfits set up a bunch of magical decorations and things like that, and they started showing off some of the tricks that they knew how to do. They got Mr. Dante Vernon to tell them a little bit about his past. And he told them about his dad and how his dad had started the magic shop. And Layla was excited to get her dad sharing more about his past and about his childhood. And then they asked Sandra to show her trick, to show her psychic trick. And so what she did was she, focused, and then she told each of the Magic Misfits, a little something about their past or present. And most of them were pretty normal, talking about Theo's siblings, Carter when he ran away from Uncle Sly, and then when she got to Layla, she talked about a special key. And Layla was shocked because the only other person that knows about this key are her parents, Mr. Vernon and the other Mr. Vernon, right? She hasn't even told any of the Misfits about it. If you remember, this key was left with her as a baby when she was left at the orphanage. So she doesn't even really know much about it, but it's really special to her, and it's her secret. She hasn't told anyone about it. So how does Sandra know about it? Or is Sandra really psychic? I don't know. And then also, Sandra said that key would become very important in the coming days. So I'm excited to find out what happens. What's so special about that key? Why Sandra is in town, aside from just fixing up her childhood home. I don't know. Let's find out. All right, here's chapter 9. Layla retrieved the locks, as well as her lucky lock-picking tools, from her bedroom, and then brought them back to the dining room. As Mr. Vernon clasped the final lock onto the straitjacket, there arose a frightening clamor from the shop below. Crash! Smash! Crack! Bam! The muffled sound of a shriek rose up through the floorboards. Mr. Vernon's eyes went wide, and he raced down the hallway. Layla followed, trying extra hard not to trip since her arms were bound. So they're still at this dinner party, and Layla went to go get her lucky lockpicks because she wanted to show her escape artist trick. And they're just setting her up in her straitjacket for her trick when all of a sudden there's this big crash downstairs, and they're all running downstairs to find out what it is. The bathroom at the end of the hall was empty. Sandra wasn't there. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. At the end of the chapter, Sandra had asked to go to the bathroom. And so Mr. Vernon said, yeah, the one at the end of the hall. And so she had just left to go to the bathroom. So now it's saying that they heard this crash and they went to go check on her, and Sandra's not in the bathroom. Where do you think she went? What is she doing? Oh my goodness, I don't know. Let's see. So the bathroom at the end of the hall was empty. Sandra wasn't there. The group rushed to the balcony and peered over the railing to see Sandra sitting on the bottom step, smoothing out her dress and rubbing her shin. Books and papers were scattered on the floor nearby. Sandra noticed everyone watching her and cried out, surprised, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed." "What happened? Are you all right?" Carter asked, racing down the spiral stairs to help Sandra up. The others followed him into the shop, while Ridley rolled her chair close to the balcony to get a better view. Layla treaded carefully as she worked the locks off her jacket. By the time she reached the lower level, she'd managed to free herself completely. "I'm so sorry," Sandra said, straightening her dress and glancing at Vernon. "The bathroom upstairs was out of tissue, so I came downstairs to use the one in the shop. But then I heard something scratching at the front window. I approached and—" Sandra's color drained from her face. "A monkey jumped out of the bushes and slapped at the glass. It scared me so badly I ran and tripped, knocking over all these books." She glanced down at the books by her feet. "Can you believe it? I didn't think mineral wells even had monkeys, let alone ones that would try to attack me." Carter rushed to the front door, unlocked it, and peeked out into the evening. He peered up and down the street. "Who's this monkey? Do you remember?" "It's BB Bazo's old monkey." "We saw him this afternoon," Layla noted. "Funny though, he didn't seem like he'd try to attack anyone. He was more scared of us than we were of him." Sandra shook her head. "What a mess I've made." "Please don't apologize, Sandra," said the other Mr. Vernon. Mr. Vernon took her hand. "Let me see your leg. Are you bleeding?" Sandra sniffed and shook her head. "Merely bruised. I think I've already gotten all the scars this life has planned for me. No matter. After that fright, I feel like I should head back to the resort. Let me fetch my shawl from upstairs." "I will get it for you," said Theo. "I'm already on it," called Ridley from the balcony, turning her chair around and heading back into the apartment. "Thank you, dears. You're all too kind." After many generous hugs and handshakes, the Misfits said goodbye to Sandra. Then Mr. Vernon walked her to her car. The Magic Misfits stood in the shop with the other Mr. Vernon, watching through the large front window. "What a night," said the other Mr. Vernon when his husband returned. "She always was clumsy," said Mr. Vernon, crossing his arms as Sandra disappeared into the night. "Strange, though." "What's strange, Dad?" Layla asked, slipping out of her straitjacket. "I'm certain the apartment was ready for guests. The bathroom should have been in order." "Sandra wouldn't lie," Layla scoffed, but she thought of Sandra's predictions during dinner and wondered if the woman had made it all up. She looked at her friends. Would she? Mr. Vernon was quiet for another moment, then turned toward the group, color returning to his cheeks. "What reason would she possibly have to do such a thing?" Layla didn't know. She did understand, however, that once again her dad had magically evaded her question. He was doing that a lot lately. The world of adults seemed to her like a great big puzzle box that locked up tight without a key. So what do you think there? Mr. Vernon said, strange though, because Sandra was supposed to be going to the bathroom down the hall, which was upstairs next to where they were eating their dinner, but like down the hall. And when they heard that crash, they checked that bathroom. Sandra was not there. Instead, they found Sandra downstairs in the magic shop. And she said, oh, the bathroom didn't have any toilet paper, so I was going to the bathroom downstairs. And Mr. Vernon's wondering, he says, I got the whole house ready for guests. And there should have been plenty of toilet paper in the bathroom. So what do you think? Do you think Sandra was telling the truth and they were out of toilet paper and she was going to the other bathroom and it was all innocent and normal? Or do you think she was using it as an excuse for why she was downstairs in the magic shop? Was she maybe sneaking around, trying to, find something? I don't know. What do you think? Innocently trying to go to the bathroom or being sneaky? I don't know. And then, of course, the monkey pops up and scares her. So she screamed and crashed into the bookshelf, which blew her cover. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this Sandra character. I'm suspicious for sure. Are you suspicious? After her friends had left, while Layla brushed her teeth in the upstairs bathroom, She noticed that the roll of toilet tissue was empty. Sandra hadn't lied after all. But she wondered, did this mean that her father had made a mistake? Dante Vernon was many things, but forgetful wasn't one of them. Oh, interesting. So Layla went to go brush her teeth later in the upstairs bathroom and discovered it was in fact out of toilet paper. So I guess Sandra didn't lie. But then now she's curious about what's going on with her dad. I don't know. So many mysteries in this one. Layla closed the door to her bedroom and turned out the light. Removing the tin from the shelf, she thought about what Sandra had told her during the dinner. This key will become important in the coming days. Keep it close. She lifted the lid and clutched the string attached to the oldest key in her collection. For the first time in a long time, she slipped the string over her head and allowed the key to drop just inside the neck of her nightgown. And that is the end of our chapter. Yes. All right, well, we came across many mysteries in this chapter. They finished their dinner party, and Sandra was sneaking around or just trying to use the bathroom, unclear. Seems like Mr. Dante Vernon is suspicious and thinks she was trying to sneak around. And Layla thought that too, until she discovered that the bathroom was actually out of toilet paper. So which do you believe? I don't know. And why would Mr. Dante Vernon be suspicious of his old friend? I don't know, but the last thing Layla mentions in this chapter is remembering what Sandra told her, that the key will become important in the coming days. Keep it close. And so she decided, remember she's got her little treasure chest of keys that she collects, and she decided this special key, the one that, was left with her as a baby, she's going to keep it close. She put it on like a necklace around her neck for the first time in a long time so that she can keep it with her and keep it close. What do you think it's going to be used for? Why do you think it's going to be important? What does it open? So we've got so many mysteries. We got Mr. Dante Vernon's acting a little weird, at least to Layla, and she's wondering why she feels like he's keeping secrets of some sort. We got Sandra, who we're just sort of generally suspicious about. We're not sure if she's good or not. At least I'm not sure. And then we've got this key, the special key that Layla was left as a baby. What does it open? What is it for? Why is it going to become important in the coming days? I don't know. But next time we're going to read chapter 10 and maybe we'll find out some of these answers. I'm excited. I'll see you then.